गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। प्रभा खेतान फाउंडेशन स्वर और एहसास वुमेन की ओर से मैं शुभ सिंघवी सुर और सास कार्यक्रम में आप सभी का स्वागत करती हूँ। जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं, प्रभा खेतान फाउंडेशन भारत और विदेश के लगभग 30 शहरों में महिला सशक्तिकरण के साथ साहित्य, संस्कृति, विरासत और कला क्षेत्र से जुड़ी गतिविधियों का संचालन कर रहा है। फाउंडेशन के ऐसे आयोजन कलाकारों, शिल्पकारों, साहित्यकारों और समाज की है, जहां वे अपने प्रशंसकों से सीधे मिलते हैं, संवाद करते हैं। खास बात यह है कि कोरोना काल में भी फाउंडेशन की गतिविधियां बंद नहीं हुई, भले ही उनका स्वरूप वर्चुअल रहा। अब जैसे जैसे कोरोना का कहर कम हो रहा है, हमारे सत्र भौतिक और वर्चुअल दोनों रूप में हो रहे हैं। हमारे ऐसे कार्यक्रमों की सूची काफी बड़ी है, जिनमें कलम, एक मुलाकात, लफ्ज, आखर, किताब और सुर और साज जैसे आयोजन शामिल हैं। हमें यह बताते हुए खुशी हो रही है कि सुर और साज के हमारे इस सत्र में हमारी अतिथि हैं प्रख्यात शास्त्रीय संगीतज्ञ बॉम्बे जयश्री रामनाथ। पिछले 3 से भी अधिक दशकों में भारतीय संगीत के सर्वाधिक चर्चित नामों में से एक जयश्री अपने परिवार में संगीतज्ञों की चौथी पीढ़ी का प्रतिनिधित्व करती हैं। आप कर्नाटक शास्त्रीय संगीत की वह पहली कलाकार हैं जिन्हें डर्बन के ओपेरा हाउस और फिनलैंड के हेलसिंकी के रूसी ओपेरा हाउस में प्रस्तुति देने का गौरव हासिल हुआ। इस मौके ने आपके सामने संगीत के क्षेत्र की पूरी दुनिया को ही खोल दिया। आप पश्चिमी शास्त्रीय संगीत के कई प्रतिष्ठित समूह से जुड़ गईं और सही मायनों में विश्व संगीत के निर्माण में लगी हैं। भारतीय शास्त्रीय संगीत परंपरा और पश्चिमी संगीत के सम्मिश्रण से आपने एक संगीत में कला प्रधान दुनिया के निर्माण में गंभीर कोशिश की है। संगीत में नए प्रयोगों के साथ पुरातन परंपराओं को जोड़ने के लिए भारत सरकार ने हाल ही में आपको पद्मश्री से सम्मानित करने की घोषणा की है। अब मैं आपका और अधिक वक्त न लेते हुए बॉम्बे जयश्री रामनाथ जी से आपकी बातचीत के लिए गीत संगीत की ही दुनिया से जुड़ी कौशिकी चक्रवर्ती जी को आमंत्रित करती हूँ। सुश्री चक्रवर्ती पटियाला घराने से ताल्लुक रखने वाली एक बेहतरीन शास्त्रीय कलाकार हैं, जिन्हें ख्याल व सेमी क्लासिकल ठुमरी में विशेष महारत हासिल है। तो अब आप आराम से बैठिए और आज की संगीत चर्चा से जुड़ी शाम का आनंद उठाइए।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद शुभ जी for this wonderful introduction, and on behalf of Prabha Khaitan Foundation and on my personal behalf, I welcome Jayashri ji on this evening's session, where she has very kindly agreed to have a conversation with me. It's a personal delight every time to meet her and to be able to talk to her, and of course to listen to her music. So thank you so much, Jayashri, for agreeing to be here with us, and for joining us for this session. Welcome the audience, the participants.
Yeah.
And also I would love to let you know that feel free to chat, send your questions and your admiration, appreciation for Jayashri ji in the chat box, and I'll definitely convey it to her. And if you have any questions, we'll just take them up as we proceed in the session. Thank you, Jayashri ji. Welcome once again. And as I said, on my personal behalf and on behalf of Prabha Khaitan Foundation, I'm so grateful that you have kindly agreed to be a part of this session, and which is personally a truly like a treat to me for to be able to chat with you and to be able to talk to you about music is such a treat. Thank you so much and welcome.
Likewise, what a pleasure to meet you here and hear your thoughts. I'm looking forward to this.
The first thing that comes to my mind, I was thinking that how do we start the session. The first thing that came to my mind is why do we refer to you as Bombay Jayashree? What's the reference to context? And secondly, I've read somewhere that you were born in Kolkata. Is that right?
Yes, Kaushiki. I was born
That's
in
amazing.
Kolkata. My family lived there for about 10 to 15 years. But
Wow.
when I was really young, we moved to Bombay.
Acha.
And then I moved to Chennai in the late 80s to train under Guruji. So in the south, traditionally there is an association with a place when it
Yes.
comes to a musician. That's more to describe the personality of the music, perhaps. And when I came in, because I was from a place where normally maybe a student of Carnatic music doesn't come in to sing, the only thing that a great respected critic, so Guruji knew was that I was from Bombay. So he wrote a review saying, let's call her Bombay Jayashree, and then that name just stayed.
Oh, wow. That started from a review. That's amazing. That's really amazing. So, I I have, pardon my maybe very limited knowledge, but mostly I've seen Carnatic singers play some instrument or the other. Everyone, like most of them, they play another instrument apart from singing, in addition to singing. So, do you play any instruments?
I learned the Veena, Kashki,
Wow.
and when I came to my Guruji, he explained to me how and why it is very important to be able to visualize the notes, which sometimes as a vocalist we take for granted.
Mm.
Because especially when you grow up in a household uh, that you wake up, like pretty much like yours, you wake up to your amma singing or your appa singing. I used to, for the longest time, imagine that everybody's world is like that. You wake up to your mother or father singing. Then you perhaps don't understand the process of creating those beautiful journeys between notes. Is what it's how my Guruji explained, and he took me to Sri Dandapani sir to learn the Veena, which I did, and I think that did turn the way I look at music, the way
That's
I
an amazing perspective.
yeah, the
That's
way
an
because
amazing
you
way.
can actually play the veena and kind of hold the notes with your hands, right? That's what happens. Seek is sa, se, re, or re to ga, how it's going, then it goes to ma and comes back to me. There's a kind of a very graphic journey that transformed my way of thinking about notes. सो मे बी कि बुज़ुर्गों को ये पहचान बहुत से पहले थी कि अगर इंस्ट्रूमेंट सिखाया जाए स्टूडेंट को then this it will help them in that in internalizing the notes.
या दैट्स अमेजिंग. मैंने बचपन से बाबा को देखा, हारमोनियम बजाने का बहुत उनको शौक था. And only later on I realized, how it reflects in his sargams, the combination of notes that he sings, which might not be, though he follows the Patiala tradition, but might not have been an intrinsic element of the Patiala style from before, which he might have just, you know, he might have just imbibed from his love of playing the harmonium, because it's a very visual way of relating to the combinations of notes, which is amazing. Great. It brings me to a point where I'm seriously thinking that I should learn to play an instrument. I can't play the harmonium as good. I kind of can, मतलब काम चला लेने वाले हारमोनियम बजा सकती हूँ,
You
but I
can
think I should take
yeah,
it more seriously.
yeah, yeah, I think one is to understand the way the music progresses. Another thing is to understand कि जो हमारे साथ संगत करते हैं उन पर क्या जर्नी होती है, उन पर क्या बीती है. Perhaps I think it helps me to understand and be a little more cognizant of what my dear musicians, my co-musicians are doing to create that magic.
That's amazingly said, beautifully said. Yeah. So, since we started, we can't have a chat, a discussion without mentioning the role of our gurus in our lives. And so, if you just talk about your gurus and how that journey has been, and now that the roles have, have turned in a way, the tables have turned in a way. Now you are teaching so many students. So, how was the process for you when you were learning, and how has it changed, if it at all has changed? And what are the changes? What do you think about it, if you could just share?
My Amma and Appa were both teachers, music teachers. And so, like I told you, I woke up to my Appa's singing Omkar with the tantra at 4 in the morning for 2 hours. And all day, our house would have students coming in and going out. And then I remember just like going off to sleep with somebody singing, somebody doing riyas. So my first and foremost step into music was created by my parents, who were my gurus, and all the students who learned from them. So I distinctly remember so many students and their voices. If I learn a composition now, Kaushiki, only recently, only as recent as yesterday, I was telling my Anna, my brother, he we must try and practice Sri Rajagopala. And then he and I said, "Okay, you remember Sharda auntie used to sing this." So I remember Sharda auntie's voice, Rashida. So that's why I say they were all my teachers as I grew to become a better student from a very young student. And then I learned from Balamini Amma, who lived in Bombay, and she was like a true Amma. She taught me for many, many years. And I moved to Chennai then to learn from Raghuvi sir.
Yeah.
And I continue to be his student because even in Sukshma Rupa, after he has moved on, he continues to guide me. And there are so many things that are in my head that he has said which will help me for Janmas going forward. I had the good fortune of understanding some basics of Hindustani music, first from Pandit Vishnu Prakash ji, and then from Pandit Mahadev Jaipurali, a little bit from Ajay Ponkar ji. So my Amma was so, she just thought that all the sound in the world had to be infused into her child. तो कहीं भी कोई भी अगर क्लास होगा तो मुझे भेज देती थी या मुझे साथ में ले जाती थी और बिठाकर बोली थी प्लीज इसको कुछ भी सिखाइएगा. So I learned a little bit of everything, which has given me a lot of understanding, appreciation of so much, like you rightly introduced in the beginning, कि अपने देश में there is so much richness, so much diversity. So that's about my gurus, several gurus.
And that, I think now that you kind of explained the journey, it makes so much more. It connects the dots so beautifully, because always, whenever I've heard your music, in whichever way, whichever setup, because I've been following your music long before I ever got to meet you. So I've been following your music in different ways. Some fusions, of course, some playbacks, and of course your traditional Carnatic renditions, the concerts, the recordings. And I remember some Kolkata recordings that were there at the Sangeet Research Academy archives, which were which was, I think, one of my first introductions to your music. And I've always felt that there's a subtle uh, softness and amiability in your voice that is very rare for, first of all, classical musicians, and especially Carnatic musicians, because the the form itself is, it demands so much of vigor and strength and power, that that subtle softness, which is so soothing to your soul, is sometimes not the predominant, you know uh, how should I put it? It's not the predominant expression of Carnatic music, but that, from the very projection of your voice, whatever you sing, that subtle smoothness and that silky texture of your voice, it's so attractive and it's so mesmerizing. So I think all these kinds of music that you've heard and you've learned, and these exposures, do you think that might have had um an impact on your thought process, which kind of led you towards, you know to even see Carnatic music from a very unique perspective.
What a beautiful way you have placed all these thoughts before me, Kaushiki. It's like hearing a little alap from me, as beautiful as your alap would be. And I'm actually uh, leading to think if I can find an answer for this, which I have, nobody's asked me this in this beautiful way that you have done before, but I don't know if I can answer it in detail. But some things that occur to me immediately from your question is that, um, again, all these things I've assimilated listening to gurus and my parents, that it's a reflection of whatever we do, whatever we sing, is a reflection of a personality that gets formed owing to so many sounds we hear, the riyas of the people around you, the different forms of music that impact you, that you absorb, that the music reaches you at a point that you can absorb it also. You know, there are so many things. So maybe what I sing is probably a distillation of all that things put together. Um, Perhaps it is has led to a point from where my great Guruji, Mahan Guruji, shaped me, because his thought process, how he thought about music, how he could really visualize every swar. He would tell me, think that the swara of Mohanam, the ga and the dha are your best friends. So think of it like that. Don't think ga and dha are there. Just think that they are your friends and you have to be forming your friendship with them. So these kind of little things that he told me lead me to maybe emotionally look at music or think about it in a way which brings out what you probably are saying or saying, Kaushiki.
That's again, that's as sweet and as gorgeous as your music. That's a really, really beautiful reply. And I think we missed out on that small aspect of you teaching. So do you see a difference uh, between the bonding or the dynamics between the student and a teacher from when you were a student to now when you are a guru?
Yes, it is. It is different, but I have always heard this that अपने पहले जनरेशन के बुजुर्ग बोलते हैं कि उनके टाइम में डिफरेंट था एंड देन द अर्ली वन से कि उनके पहले का टाइम में सो आई थिंक द डिफरेंस is always there. The continuity or the constant thing is that it is different. That said, I have or can never do what my Amma did for my child, because she was a constant striver, and she perseverance, and she everything was less important for her, even her own self. And I'm sure you understand and appreciate what I'm saying. But whether I have been able to do that to my students or my son, okay, I am less important and they are the most important, I don't know. I think there I'm much, much paler in comparison. But I would say this one thing, that every time I have shared music with a student, whoever that student is, however that student has absorbed or visualized music, I end up feeling a richer student myself. After every class, I feel, acha, I know this composition a little better. Or I feel, oh, this part I didn't know earlier. You know? So,
Ah.
so the process of sharing and engaging, I really yearn for, because it makes me feel better at the end of it.
I can only say how fortunate the students are, who get to learn from a teacher like yourself, who sees the process of sharing music in such a wonderful way. Because it's uh, I would actually like to mention this. This is a very personal feeling that we as students, we always feel lesser. Uh, when we feel smaller, we feel that ये तो हमको कभी नहीं आएगा, and which is true, because जैसे मैंने जैसे बाबा से सीखा, जब भी कुछ सिखाने के लिए बैठते, आज भी यमन भी लेके बैठते तो मुझे एक नया राग लगता है. It seems like it's a new rag. I have never learned it, I've never sung it, I've never heard it, because every time he gives me a fresh perspective, which is a little more challenging. Because I think the reason he never wants me to be comfortable in a perspective, because that comfort will eventually lead to a kind of a stagnance which he doesn't want. So he wants to churn that process of continuously trying to find a newer avenue to approach something that I might think that I know. So but in that's a student's perspective, but this is a beautiful guru's perspective, who, as you beautifully have put that, after every session of sharing music with your shishya and shishyas, you feel enhanced yourself to have, once again, in having engaged and having kind of visited that song or that composition or that rag in a way that is required for the student. And how beautiful, and this is for the audience, I really want them to understand, because it so resonates with me that it is, I think it's a little as compared to being a guru, I think it's a little easier to be a performer, because you are the only one in question. But when you're trying to become a guru, it is such a selfless process. In the process, when you commit to a student and to sharing the knowledge, it is as if you're committing yourself to kind of, in the process, you agree to cease to exist, because it's such a point of giving, जहाँ पे आप खुद के लिए कुछ नहीं रखते, आप सब कुछ अपने आप को उनके उनके अंदर देखना चाहते हैं. So you want to see yourself and maybe an enhanced self of yours in your students, and it's such a divine, I think इसीलिए इसको this is not, when we say guru, I think we mean a little different. um, it's a different vibration than when we say teacher, because it's such a divine process of, I think आप beyond a point as a guru, आप शिष्य में बसना चाहते हैं, आप उनके अंदर अपने आप को देखना चाहते हैं, और you become one in the process, and that's so divine. And आपने जैसे उसको कहा, it's so beautifully put, and it's really emotional for me to hear it from someone like you, who sees the process of this parampara so beautifully.
Thank you, Kaushik. And I think आपको भी ये पहले सूझा होगा कि कभी-कभी guru comes a teacher. I don't say guru for me, but a teacher comes from a point of great preparation. To be prepared to address perhaps how does this ragam progress, or how this kriti was composed. And then I have observed moments when a student is able to recognize that much faster than even I thought it can be done. Not just that I couldn't do it, but they just get it like that. So I think at that moment, for me, it has taught me to just let go of everything and not be attached to the fact that I am not prepared, but to take something. So I feel the roles also reverse very often. Shiki, have you experienced this? I feel that there are moments that I feel, oh, I have learned this from her or him. So I think it's, and this is like you so beautifully said, it's a part of our parampara, only our parampara, which we should cherish, treasure, worship.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. And that kind of brings me to my next question, which is something I'm here to learn, absolutely, because uh, a guru who sees the parampara in this way, and then a mother who's teaching her son, and he's also, Amrit ji is, I mean, I he's he might be much younger than me, I've heard his music, I've heard his singing, I've heard his productions and arrangements and soundscape. It's really beautiful and very mature. So how is there are so many overlaps in a relationship, because there's this tradition, there's this respect, there's this responsibility, and there's this immense affection. And you pamper your child, you love them to no end, but there's also something that's very precious that you want to give them, and you want them to nurture it with as much respect. Sometimes it feels like, because when you yourself have gone through that tradition, that legacy, you've carried it forward, sometimes it also feels like it's such a heavy responsibility for a child to take. But with so much love and care, you still want them to take it, and you want them to take it forward. So how has that journey been?
Um, yeah, I only feel grateful that there is an offspring who understands and relates to music and likes our music, our culture. But like you said, to be a mother and be someone who can share the music and draw the lines in between, if there are lines, or sometimes ignore the lines and say, okay, now let me switch to be mother and then not be a severe teacher. So this conflict has been there and will be there till the end of my life. I don't ever think I'll have clarity. But if I just sit back and say, okay, mm, there is so much beauty, there's so much music in the world, and uh, to prepare them to absorb all that beauty and just direct them a little here and there and kind of hint to them to ये अच्छा है ये अच्छा है and ये अच्छा है क्योंकि मेरे गुरुजी ने कहा है, then I think I feel very light. Otherwise, yeah, it's too heavy on my fragile shoulders at least. But I think with the blessings of gurus and elders and the people who love him, to you he's just Amrit Kashti, you should bless him, he's much younger. I think if if music has music will show the light, right? It will show the path. तो ऐसे सोचने से then it becomes हल्का. Why we do have to keep doing our duty? Like we're doing.
That's that's amazing, because I always feel a little kind of divided. Then when to be a mother, when to be a friend, because with every next generation, they really want a friend, and they need a friend in their parents. In the changing times, the times are very different now, so they need that refuge, they need that place where they can come and share anything and everything, and their complexities of lives are increasing in such pace,
Yes.
with the so-called accessibility and uh, you know the resources that life is offering. There's also that complexity, there's also uh, so much already on their shoulders. So they need that friendly parent who they can come and talk to. And generally mothers are to sons at least, mothers are the ones that they always have to say their small secrets and things like that. And then again, next morning, the mother becomes a very strict teacher कि अभी बैठो, अभी ये करना ही है, अभी 100 बार करो. And then suddenly, I also feel, I'm sure he also feels कि ये हो क्या रहा है, अभी दोस्त कहाँ गई. So you have to find those uh, pockets where you can change roles and kind of keep the balance, which is.
I watch
And
vlog videos with Rishik Baba. I mean, it's so endearing that I wonder when are you drawing the line of being his mother, because he's so cuddly and huggy, and the way he does whatever he does musically, the way he expresses himself is so beautiful and so lovely. So I guess it must be really tough for you, but
very tough for all of us, I think. And on top of that, we travel, so there's this absence. So you want to make up for it, but you don't want to bring loads of toys and just give them too much distraction, too
yeah.
much television, too much screen time, so too many things.
Yeah.
And with all these things becoming more and more available, I think it's making
I'm
it.
really sorry to interrupt. There are, the guests are saying, Jayashree ji, can you increase the volume of your device?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm not heard, is it?
Because there are messages coming on the box.
Oh yeah, Jayashree ji's voice is not as clear as Kaushiki ji's, so little more volume would be
Could you
great.
hear me?
Sorry.
Could you hear me all this time?
Yes, they could, but if you could increase the volume a little bit, I think that will be better.
Yeah.
I think I've done what I should.
Yes. So yeah, so that is all, again, beautifully said. And I also want to, this perhaps will be my last question because of time, but I'm happy to talk to you as long as I can. So one thing that I really want to say that um, amongst the very rare musicians of your contemporary musicians that I've seen who are very aware of the changing times and the needs of the changing time, yet being very rooted in their tradition, but taking up the right projects, the right uh, you know kinds of collaborations where they can take their music to a global platform and do what is required for the craft and where the craft should be placed in a very beautiful balanced way. The first such project that I had heard was that Sindh Bhairavi, that Tilana, Lalgudi ji ka Tilana. And that entire project, it looked so beautiful. It sounded so gorgeous. And later on, when I met Saiji, I got to know that it was, he was part of that project, and how the dots are joined. It's beautiful. But that is one. And then even as recent as the Moonlight, your that entire series of uh, beautiful songs. And this is for the audience. If you haven't checked, you should, as soon as we finish with this session, you should go and check the entire series that is called Moonlight. It's so beautifully presented. The song, every single piece is like, I don't think they are only lullabies. They're so meditative. They give you so much peace and that bliss. I wouldn't call that only happiness, because it kind of lasts and it stays and it grows within you. So uh, do you take these decisions very consciously? Are you very picky about the choices of collaborations that you do? How do you balance between this tradition and being so contemporary at the same time?
I think these collaborations, they came my way. I would even go one step further to say that they chose me. The very first collaboration that I had done was a Jugalbandi with Shubhaji Mittalji, which was suggested by a mutual friend. Shubhaji and I didn't even know each other. But the moment we met and we started singing, I was in a different world. And the possibility, Kaushiki, that you can sit next to a musician who has trained in a different system for years and years and share that space, that sonic space, the physical space, and then both of us can fly in and try and create another space in the mind, our minds, and that of the listeners. I think then I started getting addicted to this. I wanted more of this all my life, and the moment I wanted, then many things like that. I got to work with Leela Samson ji, and every time I have worked on a collaboration, and every time I can see music and hear music through their eyes. Like for example, if Leela she chose to portray a flower in many ways. We as musicians do. We also do sanchari, like we think of musical phrases, but when they depict flower or rain or whatever, Radha, Krishna, in different ways, then there have been times when in rehearsal I've just forgotten how many number of times I have to sing, or even in the performances I've made mistakes. So it allows you to get lost in another person's artistry and uniqueness, sitting beside them, the luxury of sharing that space. So I crave for this, and I think the moment I started craving, these pathways just started forming, and yeah, so many. I think for me, then they become my gurus because I learn from them. I learn from the sounds that they create, and often Kaushiki, they have been able to extract something from me which I have not even heard in my own riyas. Right? So, and I come back thinking, अरे ये कैसे हुआ आज? मैंने ये ऐसे कैसे गा दिया? Small things, small bits of happiness, but so these collaborations are so enriching and so fulfilling. So
that's amazing. And from different answers to different questions in this discussion, many a times I'm hearing that you're so confident in being a little vulnerable. And I think that's the beauty and the power of an artist, because you earlier also you mentioned that you go prepared when you go to teach, but then there's a point when you feel that let's undo and unlearn everything and then just go with the flow. And now also you said that it allows you to get lost and to kind of lose yourself in your preparation. So that vulnerability, it takes a lot. I mean, from whatever little experience I have of performing, it takes a lot of confidence for the artist to feel vulnerable and to allow herself to feel vulnerable on stage while performing. It's such an amazing and beautiful feeling if one can manage to do that. And that's so beautifully put. Somebody called Deepa Mishra is asking that you have, of course, you have collaborated with whom not, but if there's one collaboration or one artist that you would like to mention who with whom you've enjoyed the most working with.
I really can't say one, because if you have to tell me which guru taught you the most precious thing, can I ever answer or even attempt? No, each one has been so precious, and I yearn for more in each of that journey.
That's beautiful. Kumar Raman ji, he's saying that her Guruji, though was traditional, was so broad-minded that he used to discuss music of Michael Jackson with Jayashree ji.
Yes.
So, these are beautiful. I think these are small examples and small instances in life, which I think it teaches us, a world of possibilities of of who we can become and what all life offers us.
Absolutely.
There's again Deepa Mishraji asking if there's time, please ask this question. I have read that you work a lot with children and children with special needs. How is your experience working with them and how does music help them?
I work with the help of my students. I don't say I work, I share music with children in the autism spectrum. We've been doing this for 15 years here on this journey. We try to create a space for them where they can just listen to music. And it has been one of the most satisfying, I can say, life-changing experiences, not just for me, but for all my students.
Amazing. And I know of some social welfare and some other kinds of activities that helps the society, that helps our co-musicians. And she's also very, very active, and this is for the audience, that also we've had some small opportunities to kind of come together in doing something that I think gave us much more than anybody else. The happiness and the peace that it gives us is immense. So in even in that, I've seen how committed Jayashree ji has been and how thoughtful every single word that she's chosen when she spoke about it. It's so thoughtful and it's so careful and so respectful. And that speaks, I think it speaks loads about who Jayashree ji is. And I genuinely consider myself so fortunate to have learned so much from you, honestly. Because yes, music, of course, I'm a fan, I'm a student, I've learned, I'm an admirer. You are such an amazing example for so many, that includes me. And thank you for just being you, and thank you for being who you are.
Very kind, Kaushiki. There's nothing that I've done that my gurus or my teachers have not. Just following that path in a very small way. I feel like a little dwarf when I look at how much all of them have done. But you are truly kind to me. And that's from so much love that you have always showed towards me.
It's my pleasure and honor. And on the audience's behalf, on Prabha Khaitan Foundation's behalf, and my personal behalf, from my entire family, I want to congratulate and tell you how happy and how happy and how happy and how happy we all are to celebrate you and the Padma Shri award that has been announced. It's any award, I think, is very small for a life that is so enriched already from within. I think any external factor can hardly add anything to such a beautiful person that you are. But
Thank
I
you.
really want to
Great.
congratulate and wish you
I
all
want to
the
say
happiness, health, and
thank you.
everything that makes you smile.
Thank you, Kaushiki. And within few minutes of the announcement of the award, our respected your Baba was the first one to call me and wish me.
Yeah, Baba told me that, I spoke
For
to her.
his blessings, everything that he poured on me, love, affection, blessings, and prayers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It has been an honor, and thank you for allowing me to talk to you, because मेरी कोई औकात ही नहीं है. I'm just an admirer of your music,
Oh,
and
no.
it's such a pleasure and honor to talk to you.
You are someone everyone looks up to. You are someone that everyone wants to be, Kaushiki.
ये आप सबका प्यार है,
Music,
और
you are.
बस ये प्यार और आशीर्वाद बनाए रखिए. That's my biggest, ये संपत्ति बोलते हैं ना, that's my biggest treasure. Thank you so much. I think Vandana ji is here.
Yeah. नमस्कार, मैं वंदना सिंह आप सबका प्रभा खेतान फाउंडेशन और एहसास वुमेन कोलकाता की ओर से आभार प्रकट करती हूँ. हमारी आज की अतिथि बॉम्बे जय श्री रामनाथ जी और कार्यक्रम की सूत्रधार कौशिकी चक्रवर्ती जी का भी आभार, जिन्होंने आज इस कार्यक्रम को यादगार बना दिया और ये शाम हमें लंबे वक्त तक याद रहेगी. हमारे सहयोगी स्वर और भारत सरकार के संस्कृति मंत्रालय के ईस्ट जोन कल्चरल सेंटर का भी आभार. धन्यवाद. Thank you all.
Even after the thank you, I'm so sorry, but I would have to say that there have been multiple people who have, who have mentioned here that there should be a collaboration between the two of you, which means me with for some reason, मतलब मुझे औकात ही नहीं है गाने का, but this is on records, and this has some 34 witnesses that आप जब बोले मैं ready हूँ. whenever there's an opportunity to sing with you, it'll be an honor, and it'll be a blessing for me. And again, I wish you all the happiness, health, and बहुत बहुत अच्छे रहिए, हमको सबको आशीर्वाद करते रहिए.
Foundation for this opportunity. Thank you, Kaushiki.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.